of correcting my honorable colleague from the other side, let me state very clearly, the PBO has indicated that 8 out of 10 Albertans get more money back from the Canada carbon rebate than they pay in carbon tax. And Mr. Speaker, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can take the word of Premier Danielle Smith, who said that not only did she get more money back because she lives in rural Alberta, she even got the 20% top up. Sorry, my colleague, that's the fact.
I ask the honourable member from Miramichi Grand Lake not to take the floor unless he's recognized. The honourable member from Battleford's Lloydminster. Excuse me, from Fort McMurray, Cold Lake.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Canadians lined up at food banks really aren't buying that rhetoric. I'm sorry. Food bank usage is also up. Cold Lake Food Bank is the busiest it's ever been, with a 28% increase in usage over 2023, which itself saw an increase of 16% over 2022. The carbon tax is driving up the cost of groceries, gas, and heating, making things more difficult for families and food banks that are pushed to their limit. So the question's simple. Will the Prime Minister admit his carbon tax isn't working and call a carbon tax election?
Randy, thanks.
The Honourable Minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Speaker, the numbers are in and the checks have already arrived. And in Alberta, a family of 4 gets $2,500 per year, which is more than they spend on the price on pollution, which is something the other side doesn't understand because, Mr. Speaker, they don't care if the planet burns. And, Mr. Speaker, let's go one step further. Why did that side vote against the Canada Child Benefit that gives $7,800 per kid in Alberta? Why did they vote against childcare? Why did they vote against support for workers? They care about themselves, not about Canadians. We're on the side of Canadians each and every day.
Yeah, you're on the side of lining your own pocket.
The honourable member from Regina Leuven.
That much hot air could run a couple windmills, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of these NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs up, crime is up, and time is up. The Parliamentary Budget Officer once again confirmed that Canadians pay much more and cost more than they get back in rebates. In Saskatchewan, after these guys quadruple the carbon tax, it's going to cost a family $2,000. That's $2,000 a year, Mr. Speaker. My question is, when will these Liberals call carbon tax elections so Canadians can have their say at the ballot box?
The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, it's really difficult to take any of this rhetoric seriously. When I was first elected 9 years ago, that party used to send checks to millionaires to help them with the cost of raising their families. That presented 2 questions. Millionaires would ask me in my riding, why am I getting this money? And people of lower income would ask me in my riding, why is it getting taxed back? What we did is we created a Canada Child Benefit that is tax-free and means tested. What we've also done is establish a national school food program. If you're really serious about addressing child poverty and family poverty, why don't you get on board?
The honourable member from Chicoutimi-Le-Fier.
Mr. Speaker, the demand at our local food bank is skyrocketing, but the Bloc Québécois keeps supporting this incompetent government. It's ignoring Quebecers' real problems. The Bloc Québécois is not helping the regions. Saguenay families are desperate with rising grocery and housing prices. When will this Prime Minister trigger an election so that the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean can be represented by the only party that cares about regions, the Conservative Party, the Honourable Minister of Labour and Seniors? I'd like to thank my colleague from the Saguenay region. But after voting against lowering the retirement age, after voting against dental care, after voting against increasing the guaranteed income supplement for vulnerable seniors, now our colleague is getting up and asking why the cost of living is going up. Well, that's because your party will bring in cuts, and it's going to affect your constituents.
That makes no sense.
Yes, I'd just like to remind us all that some of the questions today directed questions directly to members, and that's not how it should be. It should go through the Speaker.
From Edmonton, Griesbach.
The numbers are out, and last winter was the worst on record for Edmonton's unhoused population. It was so bad that over 100 people living on the street lost a limb due to frostbite. Indigenous people make up over 2/3 of Edmonton's houseless population. Indigenous people will lose their limbs and their lives this winter because this government failed to build affordable homes. How many Indigenous people need to freeze before this Prime Minister takes action?
The Honourable Minister for Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my honourable colleague for his advocacy on the issue of supporting those who have the most acute housing need, which disproportionately impacts Indigenous peoples across this country. As my colleague very well knows, we have advanced billions of dollars specifically to help address some of these concerns, including support directly through the City of Edmonton, working with a partner, Homeward Trust, to make the situation better to the extent money can help. In addition, we have put hundreds of millions of dollars on the table to work with provinces who cost match. More than a month ago in his province, I had sent a letter which is yet to be responded to. In the absence of that sort of cooperation with other levels of government, we will work directly with cities and with Indigenous governments to help address this very challenging situation.